Welcome back. Well, this time we are going to just look at a little bit of the lay of the land. What is what and where is it in Photoshop? So I'd like to direct your attention over to the left here, and you will see we have our toolbar. It can be moved around, so it may appear somewhere else and in a different fashion. But this is your toolbar, and these are the tools that we are going to use most frequently. The first being the Move tool. I'd like to encourage you as you learn Photoshop to really get used to the keyboard shortcuts and the hotkeys. That is key to efficiency. If you're not accustomed to that, maybe you are somebody who loves to use the mouse for everything and point and click. That might work for other things, but in Photoshop, it's going to take you a long time to accomplish some very basic tasks. So if we look here, we have the Move tool, and we see the V. So that means if I select V, I go to the Move tool. And let me just real quickly here turn on. There we go. Let's turn that on. Yes. So that you can now see what, there we go. So if I hit M, I go to marquee. And the marquee is going to be very valuable. We will talk more about that momentarily. If I hit L, I have Lasso, which is a variation on the marquee. Some of these we just don't use very much, so I'll keep going to B, which is brush. And sometimes so if we use Shift B, we can toggle through the different brushes. And I'm going to toggle to the pencil. That is sometimes used. The text tool, of course, is valuable for us. So when I hit T, you can see we have the text tool selected. The other one that's most common is E for eraser. So we get used to those shortcuts. On the right, we have some windows here. These are the windows I find most useful to have open when I'm editing music. We have the history tab. That's going to be very valuable, and you'll see a bit of that as we get into some of these projects. The layers, that's going to be also very valuable, and I'll try to explain layers to you in a subsequent video. Character is where we'll find anything to do with our text. And we actually have a fair amount of control. Some might find it a little cumbersome. It's because Photoshop isn't really made for text to the degree in which we might have to use it in music editing. But it is available here, and we'll talk a bit about text in another video as well. I'd also like to draw your attention to the very bottom, where you can see here, it tells me the size of my current image. 10 by 13 is what I have. If I select this arrow, perhaps yours isn't showing that. Well, simply select document dimensions. I find that to be the most helpful thing to be showing there in that bottom left-hand corner. Also, my rulers are on, which is very useful. And if your rulers are not on, you would want to go to View and Rulers, or simply Command R. That would Control R on a PC. So Command R, rulers are off. Command R, rulers are on. I'd also like to show you where you go to change keyboard shortcuts. We would go to Edit, and at the quite towards the bottom of that is Keyboard Shortcuts. And that's going to take us to a dialog box where we can toggle, work our way through any of these menus that exist on the top, and then we can either change the keyboard shortcut or add a keyboard shortcut. If it's replacing something that already exists, like Command Shift R, then it's going to give me a warning here as to what it's for. Now I use Command Shift R for rotate, so I don't want to put that in there, so we will delete it that way. That's how you set up your own custom keyboard shortcuts. In our library, we try to keep as many of them to factory shortcuts as possible, so that multiple people no matter what workstation we're on, we're able to interface pretty efficiently. And so I just have a couple of custom ones I use on my home computer and my work computer. So that's the lay of the land as far as what we're looking at. We're going to learn our hotkeys for our menu: V for move, M for marquee, L for lasso, E for eraser, T for text, B for brush. And for any of these, if you use the shift key, you can toggle. So if I'm on marquee and I use shift M, I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, which is part of the marquee. Another way I can get to these is simply clicking and holding the tool, and it will bring up a drop-down menu of the possible items. So I typically use the standard marquee, occasionally the ellipse tool. I hope that helps, and look for more videos coming soon where we will talk about transforming, how to rotate and cut and paste item from one page to the other.